not gonna lie, it's been a while since I made one of these, but what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back into another video. In today's video, I'm gonna do a pulmonary function test, PFT. If you guys remember in my channel, I already did one around 3 years ago, but I'm here doing another one again. One of the main reasons I did the first time was because I had already gotten COVID around 2 times up to that point, maybe 2 to 3 times. And then I also had suffered from acid reflux for a very long time, right? As you guys know, I've had a lot of surgeries when it came to all of those. And I was concerned. I was like, you know what? Let me check my lungs to make sure that like my lungs are not being damaged. In this case, they can be scarred, right, from the acid, and I don't know what the damage of COVID could have been. So it was more like a preventive check back then. I wanted to make sure that everything was good and just to stay safe, right? Because once scarring happens in your lungs, it's irreversible. You can't cure that, you can't fix that. So I was a little concerned, so I decided to get checked, right? But this time around, if you've been around my YouTube channel, you have known that last year, about a year and a half ago, so around the summer of 2024, I started suffering from, a lot of chest tightness, which I believe is due to like secondary effects from having the knee duplication, having that reversed. Also knee duplication with the mesh, and then having that reversed, getting the mesh taken out, and then doing the LINKTREE implant, right? So after its time, I feel like it's taking a toll on me, and expanding my lungs and expanding my my diaphragm, expanding my ribs have become a problem. And I had a really crazy episode where I had to go to the ER and I couldn't literally expand my lungs to more than like half point. I would literally just right. And I went to the ER, got everything checked, and they sent me on my way home because everything was good. But even then, when they sent me home, I still had problems with my breathing, right? When I went home, I had to stretch. I was teary-eyed. I cried essentially. And to be honest, that helped me. It helped move something in my chest when I was crying. And ever since that time, nothing has been the same. So I've kept that chest pressure for a year and some change now. Now there's days that I feel like I'm doing all right, but there's days where it's just like I can feel that pressure constantly, right? And it could be because of, secondary effects, side effects from having surgeries. Could be very much so. I'm just trying to get checked again. I came to the doctor to make sure that at least if my lungs are okay, then try to find the answers to the structural problems around my diaphragm, around my chest, around my lungs that is causing that constant pressure or the inability to breathe correctly, right? And that is why I'm here today. So I'm here today to get that test. I just arrived here at the office. I forgot exactly the step-by-step process of how it goes, but essentially right now I'm gonna go do the test. Then they'll have the results, and at the same time I'll have an appointment with the doctor. So doing everything at the same day so we can get the answers and get everything done. So right now it's about 9 a.m. I think I'll have the appointment with him around 1 or so. So in the meantime, what I'll do is once I get done with the test, I'll probably end up coming back out, maybe go eat some lunch or something, and then catch you guys up on how the test went, right? So that's the plan for right now. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, guys. It's a lot to unpack, but I am going to give you as much detail and as much information as I can from my experience with the PFT test. Well, technically it's pulmonary function test, so that's redundant. Sorry. Anyways, okay. So the first thing that I'm going to say, I'm going to show you my results. I think I'm comfortable with sharing my results. Now, I won't share my personal information, but just know I'm 32 years old. I am around 230 pounds at the moment. Not the best. I need to lose weight for sure. I want to weight like 210, 215 maybe a little bit less. I'm about 6 foot 5 feet 11 3/4, so we rounded up to 6 foot. Okay, so, and obviously, and a Hispanic male, if you couldn't tell. I'm just giving you that information just in case, you know, you want to compare yourself and see where you're at. Obviously, talk to your doctor. This is not any medical advice. This is just me sharing my experience, right? So the test itself, oh, by the way, I'm going to share my results in a little bit. I'm also going to share a picture of me in the little, I don't know what's the little machine they use, right? So I'm going to share, so you can be comfortable, so you can see how I fit in, to see how you would fit in if you haven't done this test in the past. But if you've done this and you know, you've been in the mix already. So this test, I felt like it was a little bit harder on my chest than the last one. The reason I say that's because, again, I've been suffering more from my chest tightness, right in the middle of my chest. I believe, and after having the conversation with the doctor, he also believes that it could be just, you know, the scar tissue that I have from the surgeries, from having the knee fundoplication with the mesh implant. Remember, that mesh was removed, and unfortunately that mesh at one point was still attached to some of my organs, in this case my liver, and the doctor had to remove as much as he could. But even then, there's still a little bit of mesh left inside of me because he couldn't remove all of it. According to him, some of the mesh was around some of my blood vessels and he didn't really want to touch that. So yeah, and don't worry, I'm in a lawsuit for that. Now, I can't get into the details of the lawsuit, but I am. Anyways, then I had the LINKTREE implant and I had the mesh removed, the LINKTREE implant, and then I just had sutures on the hiatal hernia, right? So that's where I'm at now. And obviously this time around, I wanted to get checked because it's been 3 years. You know, my lungs, I wanted to make sure that they are okay, that we're doing good in that department. And according to the doctor from my last test, my results look good, although some of the numbers have gone down. The two most important numbers he gave me, that, you know, the lung, some of the numbers should be between 80 and 120, and mine is a little bit above 100, which is average and a little bit above average, just a little bit. 3 years ago though, it was way above average, right? So I'm like, the numbers have gone down, but they haven't gone down out of range, if that makes sense. I will share my results, at least some of them, so you guys can have them and you guys can just see and obviously compare to yours and what yours look like, right? Now, I do believe that some of the numbers have gone down because of some of the issues that I'm having with my chest. I don't think that's a coincidence. Now, according to the doctor, they weren't enough to be concerned that this is it's a declining situation. Does that make sense? So it's not going down, but things aren't getting worse. It's just I'm still in a normal range. My chart looks good according to him. Obviously last time they looked better, which I wish they would have looked the same, right? But it's okay. You know, I trust him. He told me that everything is all right, but he told me to follow up in 2 years, and which is cool. This is what I do with my cardiologist as well. I literally check about every 2 to 3 years. I get an echogram, I get all my test results, my blood work, to make sure that my EKG, to make sure that my heart is actually functioning well, because I get you know, tachycardia and things of that nature because of all the things that I have in my chest. It's a very complicated situation. God created us very beautifully, but definitely very complicated, especially for us to fully understand as humans, right? So that is where that stands. And some of the numbers, as you'll see, one of the things that I wanted to know was my lung capacity. Apparently my lung capacity is about 90%. And I guess it's how much of breath I'm able to breathe, air I'm able to breathe into my lungs, and the capacity of my lungs, right? So I believe the last time it was a little bit higher. Again, this time around though, this test felt more tough. And some of the reasons why it felt a little bit more difficult was because of this right here. Sorry, I just ate, by the way. I ate some Chick-fil-A, so this is a little dirty. But this area right here, where you get the hiatal hernia repair and all that area specifically, it's been a little bit more of a struggle. I feel the pressure. I feel uncomfortable when I was having to breathe. I can just feel that it was, it felt very, very off. It's an off feeling. Part of the test, guys, by the way, if you need to watch another video to explain exactly what the test is like, let a professional do that. Do that for you guys instead of just listening to me, because they will explain things a little bit better. But breathing in, right? Normally just taking deep breaths, letting them out. You have a little machine they close your nose so you won't be breathing through your inhaling and exhaling through your nose, which, by the way, I can't even do that right now because I'm suffering from sinusitis. So you see that? I can't even breathe anyway. So close my nose and then you run through the test. If you are claustrophobic, don't worry about it. I don't understand because I'm not claustrophobic. But if you are, definitely talk to your doctor, the specialist in charge, about being claustrophobic, because they close at the end. They do close the little thing and you're just in there breathing and they do another test. I understand, being a little bit nervous. Rebecca, who was a specialist, I forgot what her title was exactly, but she was so sweet. She even let me take a picture, probably the picture that will be on the thumbnail of this video. And there's some pictures that I'll show you guys of the machine so you guys can just be more comfortable. She was really nice. She was really awesome to work with. And I had a great experience. I truly wish that everybody had people in healthcare professional providers that were that nice all the time, that were sweet, that really took care of you, that cared about how you were feeling during certain tests or certain issues that you're going through. And we went through the whole process. They closed it, opened it. I did all the breathing, I did the panting, just all of that, which seems to work. Every time I work my diaphragm more and faster, it's just I can feel my chest getting tighter and uncomfortable. By the way, my blood pressure right after the exam was around 142 over 92, which is not good, right? It's not normal. But I know after all this time that it's because of what's happening here. When this area is feeling uncomfortable and it doesn't feel well, my blood pressure comes out higher than normal. I've experienced this, since I've been suffering from these issues. So if that's happening to you and you've noticed there is a trend, definitely take a note, that's the case. I know for a fact that I don't suffer from hypertension, but when your body's not feeling well, I feel like your blood pressure also doesn't come out well, right? But I'll keep an eye on it. I'll go test it at home maybe later tonight, tomorrow, to make sure that was the case again, just to be safe. But yeah, guys, I guess at this moment I'll have to wait another 2 years to see what's going on. I think I'm going to try to continue to figure out structurally what can help me besides breathing exercises and besides doing other things that, for example, stretches that I do at night sometimes, doing all those things that will have some relief on my chest. I think that would be the safest way to say. But the test is pretty simple. I'm glad they didn't keep me until 1 p.m. because the test was at 9, and they were like, no, somebody made a mistake. We should have had the appointment right away. So they fit me in, which is which is pretty great. And I got done eating Chick-fil-A, and now I'm here talking to you guys. If you guys have any questions of maybe something that I missed, something that you're curious about, if you're nervous, maybe anxious about the process, leave them on the comment section below, and I will try to respond to the best of my abilities, just to ease your mind. The reason I do these videos, they're not perfect, but I do want to share my experience, so hopefully you can learn something from it. Maybe you can learn something about yourself, and maybe compare and contrast. It's up to you. I just want to help people maybe ease their mind as much as possible. I've suffered from a lot of anxiety, unfortunately, due to my health issues. So I understand it's very tough. It's not easy, but I do want to ease your mind as much as I can. Rebecca, the lady who was working with me there, she told me every time, like, you know, people do something, they should watch YouTube videos. You know, we both came to an agreement, like everything is on YouTube or online. You can just look at people from experiences. And she was like, I love people that like you do YouTube content. And I was like, I appreciate you, because I let her know. So that's the reason she took a picture of me in the machine, and I also took a picture of the machine. She let me do that. I typically don't ask providers or healthcare workers, just because I don't want to be that guy. And you know, they have a job to do, and I don't want to make things more complicated. But it was cool that she was like, yeah, you know, take a picture, you know, if you want, I can take a picture for you. And that was a beautiful thing to see. So my next steps would just be, first of all, I thank God that my lungs are working well, that they're doing good, even though it's a struggle to breathe sometimes, because at this point I think it's structural issues. I still got air in my lungs. And that's a blessing. I'm thankful, I'm grateful, and it's just another chance to keep fighting at life, right? So if you're going through a lot of tough moments, I understand it's tough, it sucks. You want to give up sometimes, you just want to quit, but you always got to remind yourself every day that there is a purpose and there's a reason as to why you're going through that. I don't know what that is, only God knows. But remember to remind yourself that there's a reason you have to keep fighting, whether it's your family, your friends, again, your purpose, the life that you have ahead of yourself. It's easier said than done, for sure. But if anybody understands, I do. I've been suffering for about a decade from health issues since I was like 22. And I wonder how different my life would have been if I'd never suffered from these issues. I wonder every day. But you don't gain anything from it, right? The Bible says that you don't gain any hours from worrying or being anxious. So take it a day at a time, step at a time. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Obviously, the comment section down below. And what I can also do, maybe I'll ping a comment with more information or questions that you guys have, and I'll just leave it pinned so you guys can just see and have the answers there. But other than that, haven't done one of these in a while. My health issues, you know, update. I've done a lot of podcasts and other different things, but I'm glad to share a couple things with you guys in my health journey. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I also have a podcast. Don't forget to, you know, listen to that whenever you get a chance. But as always, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself, your family, and may God bless you. Yeah. Peace and love.